Santiago de Cuba is the second biggest city of Cuba, and it is just so much better than Havana.
It's cleaner, it's better maintained, and it's cheaper than Havana.
Plus, it is warmer, less touristy, and less run down. Santiago de Cuba lives and breathes the authentic, original Cuban spirit like no other Cuban city. It is here that Cuban rum, Cuban music, and the Cuban Revolution have their origins. Let me show you around the 15 best places.
In Santiago de Cuba.
Parque Céspedes is the city's geographical and cultural center. Come here to have a chat with locals and tourists from all walks of life and to see exhibitions or live music events. The most notable buildings around this main square are Cuba's oldest house, the Town Hall, Hotel Casa Grande, and of course Santiago Cathedral.
Oh, and before I forget, if you like this video, press the like button and check out my other videos that I made about Cuba.
If you missed the Santiago Carnival in July, you can still visit this hands-on carnival museum. This 18th century building harbors 6 rooms full of photos, banners, instruments, costumes and masks that will fill you in on why Santiago Carnival is such a core element of the Cuban soul.
Wearing those costumes and playing loud music was one way to express social criticism against Spanish colonial rule.
And you'll be surprised to hear how Carnival became essential in the events of the Cuban Revolution itself. Check out this video for more on that. Parque de los Sueños is not exactly Disney World, but like so much in Cuba, this feels like a time travel a few decades back, Chernobyl vibes included. But hey, there's a cool cafe inside the train. Alright, now's the time to skip forward if you're an animal rights activist. In this vast metropolitan zoo, you'll see 900 specimens of 70 different species, but to be honest, not all the animals seem well kept or properly fed here.
Now, if you want to time travel, my advice to you is you go to Librería La Escalera.
At the place you call here and now.
In this antiquarian bookshop, you'll find some amazing ancient photographs, posters, records, antique coins, banknotes, charcoal drawings, paintings, and second-hand books that are worth several times more than the actual money you'll pay for them. The Velázquez balcony viewpoint was built on an ancient Spanish fort. Its namesake is Diego de Velázquez, a 16th century Spanish conqueror, first governor of Cuba, founder of Havana and Santiago de Cuba, and a barbarian white trash piece of shit despot by all contemporary accounts. Anyways, come here to enjoy one of the best views on the town, the port and the Bay of Santiago, or experience one of the musical, artistic, theater and fashion events that this place hosts. Santiago is not just the epicenter of Cuban rum and revolution, but also of Cuban music that you will hear at every corner here. And I mean every corner. It is here in Santiago that African rhythm and Spanish tunes blended into the island's unmistakable son cubano, the Cuban sound, which the most talented and famous Cuban musicians then carried forth to the rest of the island and beyond. What's better than experiencing it live at, well, basically anywhere in town?
If you come to Santiago, or by the way, any town or city in Cuba, don't go to a hotel. Instead, go to a casa particular, which is homestay in Spanish.
In a casa particular, you will experience how Cubans really live and think and feel. Plus, you'll get a chance to improve your Spanish while hearing their insider tips on Santiago.
Being served a healthy, savory, complete yet cheap breakfast is just one of the many perks.
The cheap room price is another.
Here I'm paying 20 kuk for accommodation and breakfast, which is really good.
Watch out for this blue anchor that stands for a casa particular. Casa Diego Velázquez was built between 1516 and 1530, making it the oldest house in Cuba. Inside, you'll see intricately carved woodwork combining French, Spanish, English and Moorish styles of the time. Velázquez, the first governor of Cuba that we talked about, lived and worked here himself. The building was restored in 1965, and today it serves as a museum full of historical furniture, ceramics, intricate designs and decorations, all of which will plunge you back into the days of wealthy colonial life in Cuba.
In this cemetery lie buried some of the most important figures of Cuban history. Probably the most significant ones to be named are José Martí and Fidel Castro.
This is the island's second biggest cemetery, harboring 8,000 tombs, several crypts, pantheons, and a mausoleum. Before you leave, watch the change of guards taking place every 30 minutes. The Alameda is a sea promenade and a popular day and night hangout for both locals and tourists. It was refurbished in 2015 and offers you a close-up view at the bay while you stroll under palm trees, enjoy the soft evening breeze, or find yourself in a party situation all of a sudden. Welcome to Cuba's Jurassic Park. Critics will say it's kitsch. I say, screw them, dinosaurs freaking rule, alright? Take a walk among the 200 life-size dinosaur and mammoth statues that were built by the inmates of a nearby prison. And then go hang out with hunting cavemen scattered in between the dinosaurs.
And here's the best thing. Entrance costs just 1 kuk, plus 1 kuk more if you want to take photos. For a park like this, it's an absolute bargain. At 25 kilometers southeast of Santiago de Cuba lies Gran Piedra, which is a 63,000-ton heavy rock, probably of volcanic origin, but it's an absolute mystery where exactly it comes from.
Watch out for the stunning wildlife around before you arrive at this gigantic monolith, measuring 1,234 meters in height, making it one of the Earth's biggest single-piece rocks. Once you walk up the 452 steps, you'll earn yourself an amazing panoramic view. On a clear day, you'll even see as far as to the islands of Haiti and Jamaica from here. Practically all Cubans speak in the highest terms of respect about this basilica. The main attraction inside is La Virgen del Cobre, a black-skinned Madonna statue. The Copper Virgin is the patron saint of Cuba and the island's most sacred sanctuary, as it combines the Catholic Madonna tradition and the popular Afro-Cuban belief system named Santeria. This church exhibits thousands of votive gifts left here by pilgrims. Fidel Castro's mother donated her personal belongings, Ernest Hemingway gave his Nobel Prize medal to the church, and the Cuban revolutionary soldiers cut off parts of their beards to be put on display here. Santiago Castle, aka Castillo El Morro, has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1997, as it is the best preserved example of a Spanish colonial military complex. It was built in the 1600s to protect the city against pirate raids. That worked most of the time, except that one time in 1662 when the guards had fallen asleep and the notorious British pirate Henry Morgan successfully ravaged the whole city. Make sure to check out the Naval Museum and the Piracy Museum inside, and to take in the stunning view on Santiago Bay and the Sierra Maestra mountain range. Walk down 20 minutes from the castle and take a ferry from there or from the Malecon downtown to check out Cayo Granma. Hurricane Sandy took many of the island's colored houses built on poles, but you'll still feel the authentic magic vibe of this picturesque fishing village as you circumwalk it entirely in just 15 minutes.
¿Y refrescos tienen? No, cerveza. Cerveza solamente. Agua? No, cerveza.
Today, Cayo Granma feels like a little fantasy island dreamt up by a bunch of stoned hippies, except that it is absolutely real. Now, you might be asking yourself, this guy went to Santiago de Cuba, an area that is full of sites of the Cuban Revolution, and he seriously didn't check out any of those places?
Well, guess what? I did. All of them.
I've made a short film in which I travel the whole island of Cuba, taking you to all the places of the Cuban Revolution.